Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I pulled out my Doodlebug Lots of Love collection, as well as this sketch from Scrapbook Generation that calls for 6 photos. It is a free sketch and I'll link it below for you guys. I've had this idea of wanting to create a layout about some of my favorite binge-worthy shows. And I was talking to Nicole a couple of months ago and I was like, we should do a layout of our favorite shows that we feel like are binge-worthy. These are the shows that I'm willing to put on if I am cleaning and I just want some background noise, or if I don't have a lot of time and I just want to sit in front of the TV and watch my favorite families. And as we were talking, we realized that our binge-worthy shows are very different. We then thought it would be a really cool idea for both of us to do a layout, not share the shows that we were going to include, and then see exactly how different it is. So Nicole does have a video up on her channel today as well with her binge-worthy shows. When we were brainstorming ideas in regards to this particular layout, I started to look through my collections and I remembered that this Doodlebug collection had a TV in it. So I looked through and I was able to find several of the stickers and then went over to scrapbook.com and took a look at what I didn't have. And the only thing that I didn't have was the shaker pop, which was also a TV. So I went ahead and picked that up with a scrapbook.com order. This collection is still available, so I will link it below for you guys if you wanted to pick this up for this type of layout or any other Valentine's Day or love themed layout. When I saw the heart paper that had the Doodlebug colors of bubblegum, cupcake, cherry, and swimming pool, I knew that that was a paper that I wanted to use. So I decided to add that piece to the bottom of the layout. And then I added the pink heart paper that's in the bubblegum at the top. I had this blue shiny cardstock in my collection, so I must have used it on another layout, and there was a 4-inch strip that was left, so I decided that I would use that as well. I purchased these Simple Story plastic pieces from scrapbook.com. I'll link them below for you. I had my eye on them for quite a while, and I really like them. It's great for this technique where I had these 3 photos and I wasn't sure which one I could cut down. They all had space where I was able to, but having this clear plastic piece to overlay the photo and see exactly what would be cut out really helped in deciding to cut down the Gilmore Girls photo to a 4x4. The sketch does call for 2 1/4-inch strips, and I really like the cherry and swimming pool stripe paper that's at the bottom, but the other plaid paper is so large in the 12x12 that I decided to use the 6x6 paper pad, and I just paper pieced it along the layout because I knew that I would be able to hide the seams behind the photos. So these are my 6 binge-worthy shows. These are the shows that no matter how many times I watch them, I'm going to laugh or cry along with the show. And I have seen all of them multiple times. Right now I'm doing a rewatch of Gilmore Girls, and I enjoy doing my rewatches while I'm scrapbooking because obviously I've already seen it, so I don't necessarily have to pay attention to it. It's just something to have on in the background while I scrapbook. And because of where my TV is set up in my room, I don't really have a vantage point to watch the show because my TV is higher than my table. If I ever have the time to unmount my TV from the wall, I would absolutely bring it down some so that it is closer to my eye level. So let me know in the comments below, what are your binge-worthy TV shows? What's something that you will watch over and over again and have no problem with? And are any of my binge-worthy shows the same as yours? I will say that Behind the Attraction over on Disney Plus is one of my newer favorite binge watch shows. I love finding out all the behind the scenes type things about Disney World, especially their rides and how those rides came about. A lot of the Behind the Attraction shows have archive footage from when Walt was still alive, which is really awesome to see. I followed the sketch pretty closely, but because I did pull these images from online, the office image was giving me a lot of trouble. It's definitely not a 4x6 photo. If you order your photos from Walgreens, it does give you the option to give you a full-size photo. And what that does is it shrinks the photo down so that you have the entire photo on the 4x6. And then it just puts a white border around it. So because I had to do that with the office, I wasn't able to do the full top to bottom 4x6 photos on the left hand side. I decided to just space them out evenly on the top and bottom and then just put a little bit of a border between the two of them. And honestly, I kind of like that better because it gives it a little bit of breathing room. And I have used this sketch multiple times. I love the fact that you're able to get 6 photos on this layout, 5 of them being a 4x6 photo. And I feel like 4x4 photos are also a pretty decent size as well. So to have that many photos on a layout is pretty impressive. In the upper right-hand corner, the sketch calls for some banners, and I always love finding interesting ways to use the tags that come in these collections. So I looked through the tags in the 6x6 paper pad and I pulled out several that I thought I could use. There was one that had a TV on it, so I absolutely knew I had to use that. And then what I was thinking was I could have a tag that has an image on it and then alternate it with the back side of the tags that have the white borders. And then I thought for the ones with the white bottom parts, I could add some stickers or other embellishments to really make them pop. So I cut out all of the tags and then I used this really tiny hole punch to cut the holes at the top. It was a little small, so I had to cut like 2 or 3 holes to actually cut out the white part of the tag. But my next size circle punch was a 1/2 inch and it was way too large. So I got all of the tags down and then I started to poke my holes for my stitching. I'm going to do 1 row of stitching at the top, right along the line where the tags separate from the colored part at the top and then the white part at the bottom. Then I'm going to add a row of stitching on top and bottom of my pattern paper. I did slow the video down here so that you're able to see some of that stitching. I'm going to use a light pink at the very top, a color that's similar to the swimming pool at the top part of my pattern paper, and then a darker pink at the bottom. I started looking through the mini icons, trying to find some images that would work in that space, which was actually a lot difficult than I thought it was going to be because most of the pieces were larger than those tags. I did end up finding an envelope that has some flowers inside of it. I really wanted to use these cute animals because one, I have a bear on one of the tags and I really like this elephant, but he was just way too large. However, I did find another white bear that's holding some heart balloons, so I added him to one of the tags. And then for the last tag, I found another envelope that has a little rainbow in it, and the tag right next to it says "You color me happy," which these shows absolutely make me happy when I watch them. So I felt like the envelope and the rainbows tied into the other element pieces that were in that cluster area. The sketch calls for some stars in that area over on the right hand side, and I thought that I could use all of the TV pieces that come with the collection. So I pulled out the die cut as well as the stickers from the icon and the mini icons. So I was able to use 3 different size TVs. And then I thought I would just fill in that area with a bunch of the different hearts. So I'm pulling hearts from the embellishments as well as the mini icons and the regular icons and the shape sprinkles, anything that I could find so that I could get different types of texture in that area. I did decide to put all 3 of the TVs up on fun foam, and then all of the other hearts are flat to the layout. Recently, I also found a podcast for Full House, where the characters of Stephanie and Kimmy, which are Jodie Sweetin and Andrea Barber, are rewatching Full House. It's actually their first time watching it, and so they're talking about behind the scenes stuff and things that happened on the set. So I'm also doing a rewatch of Full House, but what I'm doing is I am listening to their podcast and then going and watching the episode that was from their podcast, because they're pointing out things that I might have missed because I'm not paying attention to that great of detail, or things that they know because it's kind of behind the scenes things. One of my favorite segments from the podcast is called Everywhere You Look, and it's things that you are looking around in, like the background scenes. And one of them pointed out that in the closet was a Sprite can. So obviously somebody was drinking a soda in between takes and things like that and decided not to take the can out of the set. And so it ended up in the episode. So I really like hearing those types of things on the podcast and then going and watching the episode and being able to see those things. So for my title, I did decide to use Nicole's sticker technique, and I am going to use the bubblegum color in the linen. I do feel like the linen paper does have a direction, so whenever I'm printing out my top layer, I make sure that I put them in the right order, and I'm definitely using that in quotations, just because I want to make sure that the linen pattern on the paper lines up and it doesn't look funky. So after I got my title assembled, I am going to go ahead and put it on the layout. I really like these tall, skinny font for the word worthy. And then I have a chunky, whimsical font for the word binge. And I love the way that those two coordinate with each other. I recently saw a post in one of the scrapbook groups about using thickers and not having enough letters. And I know that I'm using Dickers here and I created these. But whenever I do a title, I like having multiple fonts. So let me know in the comments below. Do you guys like your titles to be the same font, or do you like to mix and match your fonts? I made sure that I put the worthy down first because I wanted to nestle the word binge in between the letters. It didn't work out as well as I thought it was going to, but I definitely started with the N of binge just to make sure that it was evenly spaced, and it doesn't end up being evenly spaced. I probably should have moved the N over a little bit to the left, but I wasn't going to worry too much about it. Once I got the title down, I felt like I needed just a little bit of something on the very far right-hand side. So I pulled out these tiny hearts from the collection and added a pink, white, and red one, almost like a period at the end of this statement. All right, and then that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I did do my journaling offline, and it says, each viewing of these binge-worthy shows feels like catching up with old friends, offering a sense of comfort and nostalgia. Some scenes never fail to make me laugh, while others bring a tear to my eye, no matter how many times I've seen them. The characters become like families, and their stories resonate with me in new ways with each rewatch. It's amazing how these shows have become a part of my life, offering solace and joy whenever I need it. Whether it's an adventurous fantasy, a heartfelt drama, or a clever comedy, there's always something new to discover and appreciate in every episode. All right, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.